Well, hello. Hi. I'm so glad this is working out for us both to talk. This is
Yeah, no,
great.
I was trying to get to a quiet area because there were so many noises outside.
I know. Me too. Me too. Well, I'm glad this works for you. So let's start off by telling everybody who you are, what you do, and where you live.
Sure. My name is Raquel, and I'm an artist and project manager, account manager, web designer, queen of all trades, I guess you'd say. And I live in New York City.
Love New York.
Yeah,
How old are you?
I'm 38 years old.
And you just finished egg freezing, right?
I did. I finished
Congrats!
yesterday. Yesterday.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so tell us about your journey. How did you get to this point and what led you to egg freezing?
Yeah, it's actually been a long journey for me, I'd say. So a friend of mine mentioned to me probably about 2 years ago that um, she was trying for a kid, but that her doctor said if she wasn't married, that she should, and at her age, which is my age now, that she should consider egg freezing. And it kind of scared me a bit, but it got me thinking about it. And then I met you and started talking to other people and started getting more and more information about egg freezing. And I mean, honestly, it took me about 2 years to get over thinking that it's like me failing or me like not being who I'm supposed to be as a woman, as versus just empowering myself to say, this isn't my time right now. And I'm going to make sure that
You have the
whatever
most
happens later.
options for the future.
Exactly. Yeah. In talking to more and more women, there's been so many other reasons other than not having a partner.
Right.
Um, Medical reasons, crazy accidents, just different things that have happened that I've just met so many women who said, I wish I would have. So
Yeah.
I
Did
said, I'm
that
going to.
did that impact your decision? Like hearing other people's choices that they would have said, if I had been younger, or if I had known about the technology, or if I had done, I wish I had done that.
Absolutely. Because it helped me think about who I might be down the line. These were women that either had cancers of different sorts that made them infertile, or had just really difficult pregnancies that made it so that maybe the second one wasn't really an option for them to physically do on their own, or just those crazy accidents that you just can't plan for. None of it you can really plan for, but there were just so many other reasons other than I don't have a partner right now, and that made it just easier for me to take that step forward and say I'm just going to do this for myself. Like, I just want to make sure that if I need them later, I have them.
That's great. I'm so proud of you. I mean, I know when we first met, I probably sounded like a crazy person. And I'm like, go freeze your eggs, go freeze your eggs. But I just want to share this excitement of like what it's done in my life. And I can already tell it's like doing that for you. So tell us, how did you find your clinic? How did you go through this whole journey? Because I know it was quite a process for you.
Yeah, I mean, I was researching clinics for a little while, and the sticker price initially just is also what delayed me a bit, is because I was just so scared to have to spend like $20,000.
It's a
But the
lot.
reality is, it is. The reality is, it wasn't that much, and I started looking at some of the cheaper clinics, and what happened with that was that I went in, and I didn't feel comfortable. And it wasn't so much that it wasn't clean or I didn't see other women there. It was just that they were so young that they didn't seem to have their stuff together. And this is a process where, you're having someone else like take over your body and do all these things and then invade your body, and it was just, you need to feel comfortable that the people you're working with really know what they're doing,
Yeah.
or can answer any ridiculous question you throw their way.
Yep.
And I didn't feel that way about that place. And in researching other doctors, ones that you had sent to me, um, one of the reasons was not only because the doctor is really well known, but also because they they're supposed to take a more natural approach, and so they don't really believe in giving you a ton of hormones that might produce more eggs that are less viable. They'd rather give you fewer hormones that produce as many eggs as your body can produce, but are more viable. So, it's not quantity over quality, it's quality over quantity
Right.
for
Yeah.
them.
No, I know that was a huge factor
Yeah.
for you because they really looked at you as an individual and
Hmm.
said, based on your levels, based on your hormones, based on your medications, here's your protocol. And
Yeah.
that was a huge, that was a whole huge reason for you to go
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, no, it definitely was. It's a very individualized process. I was also very nervous because I've had bad experiences with hormones in the past, just with like birth control, just not reacting well to birth control. So I
Yeah.
was nervous about going on hormones. And they adjust things for you. And in the end, I didn't have to be concerned about it, but that was a big concern of mine. Um,
So tell us a little bit about when you started the hormones and the medications, how you became your own advocate, how you were like, I mean, you sent me an Excel document off of Google. I mean, you were intense. I loved it. I loved every
yeah.
minute of it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm learning so much from you because you were really being like the strong advocate of like, hey, why is this way and how can I improve my outcome?
Yeah, so there was a few things that happened. So, for one, I had a very lucky cycle. Everyone reacts differently to the hormones. My reaction, so if you don't know, I mean, obviously you know, but for people who don't know, they start you on birth control first to sort of like, I don't know if you want to say
Level you
jumpstart or
out?
delay, but yeah,
Yeah.
like they level you out. And as I just said, birth control and me are not good friends. So that first week was
Were you
pretty
nervous?
torturous. It wasn't even that I was nervous. It was just that, so I was nervous before I started. And then
Yeah.
eventually I just said, I have to do it. It is what it is. It'll be over in like a month,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But exactly what I thought would happen with birth control happened. So I went a little bit crazy. I got angry. I got sad. It was just,
You mean you yelled at your cab driver? Oh my
I did.
God.
I just, it's just that's what happens to me on birth control. But the minute I started the hormones, it was a very different situation. And I actually had I don't know, I was very happy. I was kind of like flying high for
I know you
the
kept
entire
texting me like,
time.
I'm on cloud 9. These hormones are great. Day
I
7.
know.
Woo hoo
I know. I
hoo.
was
Give
like,
me
can I bottle
more.
this?
I
I
know.
want
Like you were like loving it. You're like, is this
yeah,
what pregnancy feels like?
I know. It was really bizarre. And I say that because my friend went through it, like a month before me, and she did not have a good reaction. So I was
Right.
nervous.
Yeah. It really does affect everyone so differently.
Yeah, it does. And for me, for whatever reason, the hormones worked out really well. And then one of the reasons why I kept a spreadsheet is not only because it's like my personality to do that, but I was really concerned about costs, and I don't have good health insurance coverage right now
Right,
because I'm a
because you're
freelancer.
self-employed.
Right, exactly. So I wanted to make sure that I really was diligent about making sure I got the best price on whatever I could.
Right.
So
How'd you do that?
I literally called every pharmacy and said, how much is it for this? How much is it for this? How much is it for this? And I realized you have to be really careful with your wording, because I would say, okay, I didn't take Follistim, I took Gonal, but I'd say, how much is it for, 900 units of Gonal? And they would say 2,000 something. And then I would say, okay, but I'm coming from New Hope Clinic. And that was like the key words. And all of a sudden they were like, oh, you're from New Hope? It's $800. And it was a drastic, because the clinic I went to was so well known, going to this pharmacy, the prices just dropped. But if I didn't say that, they would have charged me $2,000. So I
They
had to
thought you were
become
just
really,
off the street.
right. I had to be really good at being specific with my words, and asking not only the clinic, because the clinic was actually good, and they would give you not a spreadsheet, different papers for the different pharmacies with the different costs. But I still would go in and ask. And there are other ways, depending on income, that you can get some lower costs as well.
Right, like I
But I
sent you
just,
those coupons for the drug companies that you could get a percent off.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
work too, right?
they do work. So some of them are like off the retail price. So the key is to get it off the already discounted price.
Ah,
That's what I was trying to do. So a lot of those coupons are off the retail. So it's off the
oh,
2000 something.
yeah.
Certain pharmacies work with other places, and if you're within a certain bracket, like a low income bracket, you qualify. Unfortunately, I was below that bracket, so I didn't qualify, which makes no sense. But so my spreadsheet was really so I could keep track of like where I'm spending the money and how it's being spent, and that I'm
Right.
getting,
The bang for the buck.
the best bang for the buck. Yeah, and so that if I do a second round, I already know what to do. I
Right.
already know where
You
to go.
know
I know how
where to
much it should
go. You were
cost.
like
Yeah.
on point.
Yeah, but it definitely became a situation where I was managing the nurses, to give me the information. So I really
Okay.
had to sort of put on my big girl pants and ask a lot of questions and get them on the phone and call the different pharmacies.
Yeah, but you were good about like not being shy and like belling up to the bar and being like, yes, now tell me how this works. Like, I feel like you were just very much your own advocate, and that's key
Yeah.
to not be scared, not to be afraid. You were comfortable with your clinic. So tell us how Retrieval Day went.
Retrieval day it was good. I mean, the night before I was, I wasn't nervous, but I was anxious. I was kind of giddy and I was like, it's happening tomorrow. And in my head, I'm like, you do those silly things in your head. Like, what should I have for dinner if this was my last meal? Like, what should you know what I mean? Like,
You had the
and of
last
course,
meal.
and I just wanted to be, I had been eating like
Comfortable.
healthy and, yeah, so I, just had like a really nice salad before I went to bed. But and then retrieval day, it's honestly very easy. I go in, they took my blood. They said this thing that made me nervous, but they said, we're just going to check if the follicles are still there. And I was like
Still
from
there.
yesterday, why would you even, they're still there. I actually said, they're still there. I can feel them.
Oh.
So, and then the retrieval was really quick. So they had 14 eggs.
Okay. That's good
and
retrieval.
Yeah, it is. It's good. 14 eggs. 2 of them we lost right there.
Because they weren't
basically.
mature enough?
Yeah, degenerate? Yeah, they degenerated right on the spot. And then one of them wasn't mature enough, and they kept it in the culture overnight to see if it would mature, and it didn't. So I ended up with 11. But that's
still good.
It's still a really good number.
Yeah, and how old are you now?
Yeah. I'm 38.
38. I mean, that is a really great cycle.
Yeah.
So you think you're going to do it again?
I haven't decided yet. I'm sort of like 50-50 right now. So I know that I'm like, okay, I'm good for one kid. Like I got enough, maybe twins, which would be perfect if it went that way. Yeah. But I also did the math because you know me. So I was able to calculate that the next cycle would probably be about $1,000 less. Just because I had some medication left over that I wouldn't need to purchase again. And that was also something that I found was really important. Like they would send me the instructions and they weren't always clear, and just going to the after hours call line and saying, this is an emergency call. I need to talk to my nurse now, because you're on a timed thing,
Yeah.
So,
everything has to be done in a clockwork.
Yeah. And if you miss that day, you might move the entire thing. So just being really strong and just being like, I don't understand what this is. You
need to explain it again, talk to me in a different language, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for them, it's their everyday. They're so used to doing it. They just kind of rattle it off like it's nothing.
I know.
But for us, like, we don't stick ourselves in the belly with a needle every
Nope.
day.
No, thank you.
This is not normal.
Needles for me. Not normal. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really lucky because my brother and his girlfriend are both in the medical industry. So with the crazy shot, which for me was the one that delays ovulation. No, not the trigger. The one right before it. My trigger was actually really easy.
Okay.
This was like citricide, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it basically, right before your trigger, it makes sure that you don't ovulate and give those eggs away.
Or the eggs would go out of the fallopian tubes and be gone.
Yeah, exactly. All your work is gone.
Yeah. Don't want that.
And it was one of those shots, that it's like when you're a normal person, not a medical professional, you only see it on TV, where there's like a little vial and you have to put the liquid in and shake it.
No big deal.
Yeah, I was basically on the phone with my brother for about an hour sending him photos of, am I doing this right? Is this air bubble too big? Like I was just, but that was what I had to do because
you needed the confidence.
I needed the confidence, and I didn't have it. Yeah, and I didn't have the shot when I was at the office. So I couldn't ask them to show me or even give it to me because it was a timed thing. So I had to really just like buckle down on whoever I knew had the information.
Yep, and go with them.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, do you have any advice for like women that are on the cusp of this? Like they're on the borderline. They just don't know. Should I do this? Should I not do this? What would you tell them?
I guess for me, it's really matter if you're thinking about whether you should. You should, and the sooner you do it, the sooner you get it out of the way. And as we all know, who've done the research, the sooner you do it, the more viable the eggs. Possibly the more eggs you get, but that's not always the case. It's woman by woman. But I mean, I wish I had done this 2 years ago now.
When you first met me?
When I know.
And I was like, freeze your eggs, freeze your eggs.
I know. And to just do it because it's not about whether you have a partner or not. You have no idea what's going to happen even when you find that perfect partner. You have no
Doesn't
idea
mean
what
that you're
could
going to have
happen.
kids with them. Doesn't mean it. I mean, let's
It does-
hope, but you don't
right.
know.
And it also doesn't mean that having kids with them is going to be easy. Like, we just
Right.
never know what's ahead of us.
They might have factors involved that we don't even know about.
I mean, it's just amazing how many women I've now spoken to in this process who have looked back and said, I wish I would have, and for almost all of them, it's been due to vastly different medical reasons. Everything from fertility to cancer to accidents to anything, even to just like really difficult pregnancies, to just have that option for a surrogate for their own DNA later is just, it just,
Godsend.
yeah, it just gives you another option that if you need
Gives
them,
you more
they're
choices.
there. Yeah.
Gives you more choices. I know when you, you have been really active in our Eggology Club podcast and with the Facebook group. And like everybody was sending you really positive vibes and messages. And it was just so neat to see like how many people, like we really are a community. And by telling your story and making yourself vulnerable, how encouraging that is for other women.
Yeah, it's been really great to like listen to the podcast and see all the people on the Eggology. And I've been any friend of mine who's said anything remotely like, oh, I've thought about that. I'm like, why don't you just start reading? I've sent them to your website. I've sent them to invited them to the page. I'm like, just do your research,
You can
and
learn so much just from that
Yeah.
basic knowledge.
Yeah, just start talking. And, if you have any questions, just ask me. I've had a lot of friends who hadn't even thought about it just start asking me like, well, like, why are you doing this? And when I start talking, they're like, holy crap, I never thought about that. And I'm just like, it's not about
I know,
having a
we
partner.
don't think about it. It's not just about a partner. Maybe your job is like really debilitating. Or maybe you keep getting laid off, or maybe you're like not in the right spot in your life that you're ready for this. And so you want to prolong your fertility years. And this gives you more options.
Yeah. And, I had put in my mind, I'd put a lot of money away for this. And it ended up, I don't know if it's the clinic that I went to or a lot of the research that I did and everything.
And all the advocacy work you were doing for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It ended up being a lot less. And I'm not only happy that it was less for obvious reasons, but it makes me more confident to do a second round if I do it, because I'm still within that bracket that I had sort of earmarked for this.
Right. And I think, clinics, they'll err on the side of caution and they'll tell you a little bit more than what it actually will cost you. So they don't overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah. And I also think when you start getting quotes for this, people think in vitro, and you're not getting them fertilized. You're just,
this is just the first half of the
just
puzzle.
the first part.
It's just the first half. It's the IVF without the F.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's, it doesn't.
Well, I'm just so proud of you, and thank you so much for sharing your story and being open about your whole fertility journey and how egg freezing has really just impacted you. I mean, you're only a couple days out of freezing your eggs, which is so remarkable. And I just love your positive energy and everything that you're bringing to the table. So thank you.
No, thank you. You've been an awesome support throughout this whole thing.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
Yes. And I'm here to help for anyone who wants to talk to.
That's right. All right. Kisses. We'll keep up with you. Bye-bye.